Happy day students, welcome to San Academy Group of Schools Pallikaranai, Class 9 English, Beehive, Textbook, Lesson 4, A Truly Beautiful Mind. What do you see in this picture students? Yes, it is a human brain. What makes the brain or the mind beautiful? Any guesses? Yes, you are right. Gaining knowledge and using it in a constructive manner means not to be destructive. Our knowledge should not harm or destruct anything in this world. Can you name some greatest scientists? Yes, there are many, right? Today we are going to learn about a world renowned scientist. Who is that? It's none other than Albert Einstein. Have you all heard about him? Yes. Can we know more about Albert Einstein, his life and his achievements? Come, let's learn. This brief biographical sketch of the great genius Albert Einstein gives a glimpse into his early life and his contribution to the world of science. So, this lesson speaks about the early life of Albert Einstein, his contribution to the world of science, especially mathematics and physics. The story brings forth many traits, means qualities of his personality, the chief being his interest in mathematics and physics. So, what was his domain? What was his interest? Yes, you are right. His interest was in the subject of mathematics and physics, along with his humanistic desires and tendencies. He was not only good at academics but also a good human being, which we will see in the course of the lesson. Next, we shall see about his birth. Albert Einstein was born on 14th March 1879 in the city of Ulm in Germany. So, where was he born? He was born in Ulm in the year 1879. Let's learn about his childhood. How does this child look, children? Is the head proportionate to his body? No, right? Same way, Albert's head was too big when compared to his body. So his milestones were very slow when compared to others. As a child, who is he here? Albert Einstein. Never showed any trace of intelligence, means he was very slow in his learning process. On the contrary, he was a slow child who started speaking after he turned 2.5 years old. So he started speaking at a very late age, that is 2.5 years old, which was very late for a normal child. Let's learn about his school life. So what do you see here? There are children playing, and here we have our Albert Einstein, who is standing all alone. He was basically a very introvert person who does not mingle with others. Why, we will see. Albert Einstein was an introvert child who was termed as Brother Boring by his playmates. Why was he called Brother Boring? Any idea? Okay. If somebody is going to repeat a statement more than twice or thrice, how do you feel? Will you not get bored? You will get bored, right? The same way, when Albert Einstein had an habit of repeating or saying the same thing again and again, his friends used to get bored and they tagged him as Brother Boring. So, most of the time he played by himself. Why he played by himself? Because his friends did not accept him for what he was and loved playing with mechanical toys. He loved playing with mechanical toys. Once the headmaster of his school gave a very negative report about him. As he was not performing good at school and his grade levels were too low, the headmaster summoned his father and told him that Albert was a dull headed boy who would not succeed in any profession. Is that correct, students, to make a judgment about somebody? But Albert Einstein proved the world that everybody are wrong about him. He proved to the world that he had a smart and beautiful mind. Einstein started to learn playing the violin as per his mother's wish. So he learned to play violin to fulfill his mother's wish. He maintained this skill. What skill? Playing the violin. For the rest of his life, he continued playing the violin for the rest of his life. He did not give up playing that and became a gifted violinist. He was not only good at math and physics, and he was also good and a gifted violinist. Einstein proved to be a good student as he scored good marks while studying in Munich. However, he loved freedom and felt suffocated because of the stern discipline in his school. Means, though he showed good progress in academics, the rules in the schools suffocated him. What do you mean by this statement, students? Yes, he did not have the freedom of thought, and the atmosphere was so controlled. He could not think on his own, everything was dictated to him. He left the school in Munich and shifted to German speaking Switzerland to keep up his studies in a liberal environment. Why did he shift from Munich to Switzerland? Because of the strict regimentation that was being followed in the schools of Munich that suffocated Einstein a lot. So he shifted from Munich to Switzerland for his higher studies. Now let us know about his interests and his personal life. Einstein was exceptionally intelligent in mathematics and deeply interested in physics. Though he had good knowledge of mathematics and physics, but he was more interested in physics compared to mathematics. After finishing school, he joined the university in Zurich to pursue his higher studies. So, where did he go for his higher studies? Yes, he went to the university in Zurich. There, he fell in love with a Siberian fellow student, Meliva Marek, whom he married later. While he was pursuing his higher studies, he fell in love with his fellow student, Meliva Marek, whom he married later on. His marriage with Meliva could not continue for a long because they had a difference of opinion in the later stage of their married life. And after the divorce, he married his cousin Elsa. So he divorced Meliva and married his cousin Elsa. Now let us look about his work in the patent office. Einstein could not easily find a job after graduating from the university in 1900. So he completed his graduation in the year 1900. After completing his education, he could not find a suitable job for himself and he had to wait for a long time. So, however, when he found a job as a technical assistant in a patent office in Bern in 1902, so he was waiting for 2 years. He did not have the job for 2 years. Somehow he managed to find a job in the patent office as a technical assistant. He continued his own research in physics. Though he was working in the patent office, he did not give up his research work. Now we shall learn about the theory of relativity. Yes, one of his greatest invention which made a scientific revolution. In 1905, he published a paper of special theory of relativity where E is equal to mc square. This theory of Einstein gained worldwide acclaim, means one of the famous paper of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolute. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time. If they come together again after journey of one of them has been moving very fast relative to other. From this followed the world's most formula which describes the relationship between the mass and the energy. Now let us see about his accolades. Einstein rose to international fame by publishing the general theory of relativity in the year 1915. He, in the year 1915, he had published his general theory of relativity, right? Which provided a new interpretation of gravity. An eclipse of the sun in 1919 brought proof that it was accurate. Till 1919, the people were not ready to accept his theory, but the eclipse in the year 1919 proved that his theory, general theory of relativity, was correct. His findings were proclaimed as a scientific revolution. It revolutionized the field of science, and he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics in the year 1921. He was showered with honors and invitations from all over the world, and he was lauded by the press, means appreciated by the press. 5 years late, American physicists became upset at the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin. They were afraid that Nazis could build an atomic bomb with this discovery. So Einstein wrote a letter to the American President Franklin D. Roosevelt regarding the massive destruction power of a nuclear bomb. So what happened after 5 years? Albert Einstein felt that his invention was being misused, that would cause a serious destruction to the mankind. So he wrote a letter to the American President Franklin D. Roosevelt explaining the same, means explaining the destruction of the nuclear bomb. During the World War II, it had a very serious impact. Letter had a serious impact. What letter? The letter that Albert Einstein wrote to the American president. And the Americans secretly prepared their own atomic bomb, which they dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Where is this place? These are the two cities in Japan where the Americans dropped the atomic bomb during the World War II in the year 1945, which caused a very serious destruction of the human race. They lost everything, whatever they had. Next, what did he do? He could not digest what had happened in the year 1945 during the World War II. So he is writing a letter to the United Nations organization. Einstein was shaken terribly by this inhuman act. What inhuman act? And the act of Americans dropping the nuclear bomb on the two cities of Japan, that is Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So, he wrote a letter to the United Nations proposing the formation of a world government. What does it mean? What do you mean by the world government? Yes, the whole world has to follow certain norms, means rules. But his letter did not have any impact. The people of the world nor the UN did not bother about the importance of his letter. Let us see about his political life. The rest of his life, Einstein championed the cause of peace and democracy. He was propagating the peace and democracy for the entire world. He earned fame for being a scientific genius and a world citizen by the time he died in 1955 at the age of 76. So he became a world famous, renowned person before he died at the age of 76. What is the message conveyed through this biography of Albert Einstein? This account of the life and personality of the famous scientist Einstein gives us the message that a beautiful mind possesses not only innovative, means creative ideas, but also makes sincere efforts to use these ideas for the well-being of the mankind. As I already told you, the mind becomes beautiful only when it is used for constructive work, that is for the upliftment of the human race or for the mankind. Science should be solely devoted to the promotion of worldwide peace. So scientific invention should be used only for worldwide peace, means to create peace and harmony among the people of the world and its prosperity, means and its development. If used for destructive purpose, what happened during the World War II? Americans secretly produced the nuclear bombs and bombarded the two cities in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which affected Albert Einstein a lot. So he said not to use the scientific invention for destructive purposes. The scientific inventions and discoveries can wreak havoc on the earth if not used properly. It will create so much of destruction and disturbance among the fellow human beings. Hope you are clear with this lesson, children. Thank you.